What's up guys, Daniel here. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can create a jump scare in Godot. So first of all, let's look at a quick demo of what I've done, and then we'll look at the code, how you can also make something like this or something similar in your game. So let's get right into it. So let me just go to the part where the actual jump scare is. So we can go down here. Okay, it's a long corridor here in my game. So I think it's right here. So if you walk past here, by the way, warning, yeah, for that. Man, that sound scared me so many times. And when I turn around, jump scare warning, there's this jump scare. So let's look at how I've done that. How was this implemented in my game? And before we get into that, if you're interested in the game I'm making, it's called The Final Shift. It's out on Steam. Well, you can't buy it yet, it's not ready yet, but you can wishlist it. It's a horror game where you go between floors, cleaning the floors, you work as a janitor. There's some backstory behind the building that you go to, but there's like a pretty big plot twist at the end of the game. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, I think. So if you're interested, you can check it out. It's on Steam. It's called The Final Shift. Let's get back to the video. So let me just quit here, and let me just go to Godot. So let's see how is this implemented. So we have our scene over here. Let me just check. I think my mic might be too loud. I'm not sure. I just see on OBS that it's going into the red. Not right now. It might be a bit better. Okay, hopefully it's not too quiet. So I have this eye texture over here. Let me just show you. This is the way you can do a jump scare with an image. I will talk about later how you can do it in other ways, but let me just show you first of all how I did this. So I just simply have an image with some eyes, and I've set some flags here so that, for example, there's no depth test, so that you can see it's inside the corridor, but when I come outside, I can still see them. So no depth test. If you toggle this, you see this is activated. And also another important one, as you saw, I was all the way at the end here, and the eyes are still right in my face. The way I've done this is by setting the fixed size. So if I toggle this, they will go back to there. So you can do this so that every time it will be, right in the face of the player. Now, some other important parameters that you can tweak here is the offset. So, for example, I can move it up or down, or left to right, and also something called centered. Looks like this doesn't work. Or what does this actually do? Hold on, let me see. I don't know, to be honest. Oh, whoa. Alright. Yeah, I'm not sure what this does. Let's just keep it on. Let's see what. If through the texture will be centered. Okay, let's just keep that on. So, going on with the important values you can change here. One of them is the pixel size. So with this you can make the image bigger or smaller, and you can also change on what axis the image should be. So if you want to flip it or something, you can also do that. But z-axis is good for now. Now another one is billboard. If I disable this, you can see it's pretty fixed. Now if you want it to follow the player, so for example, if I toggle it back here, you see it's now facing the player. Y billboard is similar, but I think when you're above it, you see it doesn't look right at you. It's only on the y-axis that it's rotating around. Here it's also rotating around all of the axes. And I think these are all the important parameters you can set here. You can also set the texture filter, and for example I use the PNG here because, for example, if I change here, you can see around the eyes. So you see this is the original image, its background is back, but by setting the alpha scissor threshold you can change this so it's actually transparent. Alright, I think this is the setup. You will also need a visible on screen notifier if you want to do it this way. Let me just explain what this does. So this visible on screen notifier basically just sends a notification when this region you hear this region becomes visible on the screen. So if I turn around here, right at this moment, when it's at the edge of the screen, it will send off, it will emit a signal that you can listen to, and you can call some kind of function on it. So let's see how this is implemented in code. So let's look at the script. So here in the ready, there is just some setup. I get the sprite, there are some flags, not really interesting. In the ready function, it's nothing really interesting. I just set up some timers. But this is the main part. So as I told you, this onVisible screen notifier will send off a signal whenever the little box is in the screen, or enter the screen, or exited the screen. I listen to when it entered the screen, because I only want to do the jump scare when the player is actually looking at the eye. Otherwise, I want to keep it invisible. But as you've seen, the jump scare only becomes active once the knocking is played. So this is actually what I'm seeing here, or what I'm checking here. So if the knock haven't played yet, then just return, don't do anything. And here I set this parameter on, I have a little area 3D over here. Let me just go there. So I have a little area here, 3D here. When the player enters it, it will play the knocking sound. If you're interested, here it is. It's not this one, but it's the same. You set up an area 3D with a collision shape, and you connect the signal on body entered. And then you handle the signal. For example, if you already played that knocking sound, we just return. We set the knock plate to true. We play the knock, and we set the visibility of those eyes, the big eyes, to true, so that the player can actually see them, because otherwise they are invisible. Then, if the knocking has played, then when the player looks at the eye, this code will be able to run. So what I do is I get a little timeout, because let me just show you. If I'm here and I look over here, for example, let me just toggle this visibility. So for example, if I look over here, okay, now this is also visible. So if I just look right at the edge, right here, the eye would also be visible. That signal would be sent off because it is on screen, it's right here. But the jump scare might play prematurely. So I might only want the jump scare to play when it's like right here. So I add a little bit of delay when the player is turning around. So it doesn't already start going off when the player is only here and you can barely see the eye. So going back to the script, I have this glitch effect. I will talk about it later. I have this sound effect here, and I just play it. I wait a second, I stop the sound, and I hide the eyes, and I stop the glitching effect, and that's basically it. So one way you can upgrade your jump scares is by doing some kind of visual effect. So for example, for me it's this glitching effect that you saw. Let me just show you how I've done this. For me, this is in my main node, so this is where everything is done basically. And here in the UI section I have, here I have this glitch. This is just a color rect, so basically a rectangle in 2D. So this is a control node. And here, this one, let me just see, it has a shader. So I've done this with a shader. I didn't write it, I stole it. So if you want it, let me just show you. It's here. You can also get it right here. Here's the link. And if you're interested, you can also copy it right from here. I'm just going to go over it if you want to copy it, but you will be able to get it from that link, and I will also probably leave it in the description. So this is actually a CRT shader, but I've used it to generate this glitching effect. You can use other shaders too. This might be a bit of an overkill just for the glitching effect, but since I already used it, I just reused it for the glitching. Okay, so that's basically it for the video. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me just go back to the long floor. Now, other ways you can make a jump scare is, for example, if you want to achieve something similar, for example, what's implemented in Five Nights at Freddy's, where the character jumps up or something like that. You can't really do that with here. I mean, maybe you can, but here I'm just showing an image. Another way of doing that would be to just record the jump scare and just play that recording back. So creating a video. So you can create a control node, and I think there's like a video player. Yeah, there's a video player. You can put here a video, and then just using probably by using a what is it called, a let me check, it's here in the main, a viewport. So by using a sub viewport or yeah, using a sub viewport, or is it needed? Probably not. Yeah, you can just do it with this one, a canvas layer. So you just put a canvas layer in your 3D scene, something like this. You put as a child of it that video, and then it will appear in the 3D scene in front of the player. So that is another way you can do it using a video, so a pre-rendered something. Or another way, I'm just speculating here, I haven't tried this. I mean, if you want to, I could also try this and make another video, but there's probably other ways to do it just in Godot, so with some kind of animation. So maybe you can set up an animation player with your character, so you might have, you know, an animation player, and then, you know, your mesh with the character. Can I add it here? Okay. And then you animate that, your character, your mesh with the animation player or something like that, or you make an animation in Blender, and once the, you know, I don't know, the enemy is close enough, or you want to play the jump scare, well, you play this animation, you know, animating your character, and you put the character right in front of the player. So that's another way that you can do it. Or probably by using sub viewports. I think you can also you know, project a 3D scene using a sub viewport right in front of the player. So you can also probably do it with that. But this is what I wanted to show you, how I've done this, you know, eyes jump scare in my game. So if you have any other questions, please leave a comment. And again, let me just promote myself if you're interested. This is all part of the game I'm making called The Final Shift. It's out on Steam, you can check it out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.